Hey folks, how you doing? My name's Tim Black. Thanks for tuning in. I have a story for you that is actually a learning moment. This is going to serve as a moment of enlightenment for anyone out there who's under the false assumption that we live in one America. Let me clear that up for you right away. The story begins with a young man by the name of Ethan Couch. Ethan Couch is 16 years old. He lives in Fort Worth, Texas. And Ethan comes from a very well-to-do family. Well-to-do family. Dad is wealthy. Mom is wealthy. In fact, they raised this child with the best things in life, the better things in life, luxuries, no boundaries. And his mother says she's raised him to believe, if it feels good, just do it. That's how he's lived his life. Consequence-free, responsibility-free, with no true understanding of repercussions for one's actions. Now, Ethan went down to Walmart and stole a bunch of alcohol. Him and his friends. They got shit-faced, drunk off their ass. In fact, Ethan was so drunk that when he got behind the wheel of his F-350, he was 3 times the legal drinking limit for an adult. Now, he piles all of his friends in this truck. Those who couldn't fit in the cabin of the truck, got in the rear bed of the truck. And they're rolling down the street. Now, the problem is they ran into a car that was on the side of the road. It was a disabled vehicle. In that vehicle was Brianna Mitchell. Now, Brianna Mitchell had phoned Shelby Boyles and said, Shelby, I'm broke down on the side of the road. Could you come help? So Shelby and her mother, Holly, they go to help Brianna. And a motorist that was passing by, his name was Mr. Jennings, Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings was passing by, he also stopped. So we've got these 3 vehicles on the side of the road. And then comes Ethan Couch in his F-350, drunk off his ass, 3 times the legal drinking limit, and off of stolen alcohol that they took from Walmart. His F-350, him and his 6 friends, 2 on the rear truck bed, and they plow into these vehicles. 4 people were killed that day. All 4, Brianna, Brian, Holly, Shelby. Deceased. All from the actions of Ethan Couch. Now, you would think that this story would end with, oh no, Ethan is doing 20 years. Oh, maybe Ethan's doing 10 years. Oh, no. You would be wrong if you made that assumption. I mean, it's very reasonable because you would imagine if this would have been a middle-class child, that would be probably the result. If that would have been a poor child from a disadvantaged household, a broken household, a single-parent household where the mother or the father makes minimum wage, maybe working at the Walmart where Ethan stole the alcohol. You would be right. You would be right, because that's a very reasonable idea. In fact, the prosecution agreed with you. The prosecution wanted to charge Ethan, and they wanted 20 years. They charged him the max 20 years. Ethan was able to avoid that 20-year prison term because his defense attorney was able to find a psychologist, and psychologist who came up with this theory. The theory is the affluenza condition. Affluenza. Affluent. Influenza. Flu. Affluenza. Now, the affluenza condition is a made-up bullshit term to describe children of privilege who are not accustomed to dealing with consequences. They live privileged lives where they are irresponsible, their parents do not set proper boundaries for them, and they have no true understanding of consequences for one's actions, nor have they ever had to be responsible. Now you would think, oh, nice try, right? Bullshit. It worked. The judge decided, yeah, poor Ethan, poor kid. It's not his fault his parents didn't raise him to understand the social construct, which is a society, and to understand the responsibility one has for one's actions. Of course not. Of course it's his parents' fault. How could he know stealing from Walmart is wrong, and drinking underage is wrong, and driving while drunk is wrong, and taking 4 lives is wrong? How could he know that? Can't expect him to know that. He's rich. I wish I was joking, folks. I wish I made this story up. It would be a cruel joke. But it's reality. This is what actually happened. We actually have courts, judges sitting on courts that would decide that a child who takes 4 lives should walk free without doing a day in prison. Now, Ethan's going to attend a program because they're going to rehabilitate him and try to teach him responsibility. This program will be about a year long, they say, and it's going to cost his dad a considerable amount of money, $400,000 or so. Now, Ethan's dad is happy to pay that because he can pay that. It's not a problem. Like I said, Ethan's dad is wealthy. If you were under any impression that we were having some type of democracy, that we have a just system, please erase that shit from your mind. And if you're under the impression that everything is racial, please adjust that from your mind as well. Because it's not just race that we have to contend with. We must contend with privilege. We must contend with the power of money in our legal system. Now, a couple years ago during the elections, we had a lot of talk about class warfare. And they said that that was part of Mitt Romney's case, wasn't it? That it seemed that people who weren't working and people who weren't productive and they were on the lower income brackets, they were mooching off of the rich. And they hated the rich because the rich had been successful and applied themselves and taken advantage of the American dream. That's not why we hate the rich. We hate the rich because of situations like this, because we all know that this exists. But never have I seen it on display so dramatically as in the Ethan Couch case. Now, we have a husband who's grieving for he lost his wife and his daughter. We have the family of Breonna Mitchell. We have the family of Brian Jennings. And we also have people that were in the truck with Ethan. In the rear of that truck. When that accident occurred, one of the children has brain damage and cannot move on his own. The other is seriously injured. So there are a lot of people who suffered from the actions of Ethan Couch that day. We have a problem in our judicial system. It is chronically lopsided. It is not a just system. And if you ever thought that it was, please rewind this video and take another gander at really the state of affairs, which is our legal system. We need to wake up and realize what we're dealing with, what's really going on in America, who really is pulling the purse strings. That's what controls America. The difference between you going to jail or your son losing their freedom is money. The difference between getting a good education and not getting an education is money. The difference between getting good medical coverage and treatment in America is money. That's the difference. Wu-Tang said it. Cash moves everything around me. And it does. And it has. And it will continue to until we make them change the system. I want us to start frying the bigger fish. I've been talking about it in my videos. That's the direction I want to take my channel. Recognize what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. Stop arguing over stupid things that are distractions from the real issues. This is why we are where we are. Now, I don't want to blame Ethan Couch because he's a 16-year-old kid. And it's not up to him what his punishment should be for his actions. But I blame that judge. I blame that system that allows that judge to give him this is not even a tap on the wrist. This is not a slap on the wrist. This is a handshake. That's what this is. I'm Tim Black. Thanks for tuning in. If you don't have a subscription to my channel, please go get one. If you don't have an account with YouTube, go get one. We got two Americas. It ain't just about color anymore. Well, maybe it is. That color's green, baby. Either you got it or you don't. And if you don't, your future's just not going to be as bright.